Welcome, everybody. NinjaTrader Live afternoon edition. We're here to talk about some hot commodities with Tracy, also known as Shy Girl. Shy, how are you?
How you doing? It's raining here. It's like thunderstorms. Finally.
Well, is that good or bad?
Well, it hasn't rained once since I've moved here. So I think it's good. They had to like turn off the fountain in my faux lake and because the water level was too low.
Well, it hasn't rained
Anyway,
there because you are the sunshine. You brought the sunshine with you, Tracy. That's why it doesn't like to rain.
that must be it.
Anyway, let's go. Let's dive
Oh,
right into the crude oil market here. What's going on in crude oil? It's trying to fight its way back.
yep. It looks like it's trying to, I like where this is right now. Obviously, got a huge boost from the, I guess, China U.S. trade war slowdown. So, I mean, we still have to wait another 90 days, but at least the tariffs are back down to 10%, 30 in total for the U.S. to China, 10 for China to U.S. But oil definitely got excited about it. I guess if we can make a deal with China, we can make a deal with anybody, and perhaps the whole global universe won't melt down and we'll be in a prolonged recession with nobody driving. So it's a good thing. It's trying to fight its way back again, like how it held that 55. The dollar is actually stronger today, and crude oil's moving higher now. That said, crude oil is actually more correlated to the 10-year yield than it is to the dollar. So I just wanted to point that out because everybody thinks it's comparable to the dollar, where it's really 88% correlated to the 10-year yield. So we saw yields higher today and crude higher today.
Yeah, I mean, on a daily chart, if you use your imagination, I would say if there's a little bit of a double bottom here if you just include this huge wick we saw on April 9th, and then we kind of bounced off against it again May 5th. It's kind of been a nice orderly rally. We crossed over the 8 EMA, the 21 EMA, the anchored VWAP, anchored from the highs all the way back on April 2nd. We're on a 61 handle. We have a crossover on the stochastic, so it is looking relatively bullish. Now, today's candle is a little ominous. It's I don't know if it's a reversal candle. I don't think so because it's green, but we had a pretty big wick, seller's wick on the top of this candle, and we're
Yep.
just kind of resting right on that VWAP. So we'll see if it continues or not, but it was a lot of sellers popped in at a certain point, and on the intraday chart. Volume profile is not really helpful today. The session VWAP, we're trading well below it. We lost it in the rearview mirror right after the first candle after the initial balance in the U.S. And we just got right to that JAX2 level, which is, a pretty important gamma exposure level. R1, we didn't quite get down to R1, 61.72, but we're trickling down a little bit more as we speak. Perhaps that's a downside target along with the previous session's highs, which is 61.45. A close right at 61.45. That candle that we just saw on the daily is gonna look much more ominous. We'll see if we get there or not. So, but
One
Tracy, I
more
mean,
thing I
the big,
want
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Whoops. Just one more thing I want to add on this market is the House is voting tomorrow to actually increase the SPR. They're going to buy they want to buy $1.5 billion worth of crude oil. That vote will be on Tuesday, so we'll see if the market reacts anything positively to that if we have a positive outcome.
That's some great intel right there. Let's kind of toggle over to gold right now. What do you think's happening in gold here? What do you make of this?
Well, I think this is due to the strengthening of the dollar.
Yeah.
Obviously, a little bit of risk off with the U.S. China tariff agreement, also kind of easing of geopolitical tensions between India and Pakistan. And so What's interesting also, though, about this market is, Mentor Q pointed out today that CTAs are still firmly long, and they're following the alignment with the trend. So, it still does have a bullish tailwind. So we should expect their assessment was we should expect smaller pullbacks, which is exactly what we have been seeing in this market for months now.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, right now, none of the moving averages have really crossed under. They are starting to arc down a little bit. If you use your imagination, we have this really short-term double bottom again, if the candle closes where we're at today. But we're well above the 50 EMA. We did lose the 21 EMA in the rearview mirror, and we have a cross under on the stochastics kind of in the middle of the field here. So that's a little bit bearish as well on a daily chart. Volume was pretty decent today at 232,000, as most of the markets had good volume because of the excitement overnight on Globex. On the intraday chart, speaking of our friends at Mentor Q, we have a couple of areas of interest here. We have this high vol level here that's approximately 32.45. We traded through it during the initial balance a lot. Now it's kind of framing the top of the conversation for a resistance point of view. Down at the bottom here, we have their blind spot 2. We didn't quite get to it. We're kind of trickling down here as we try to get to it right now. And then, of course, session lows are approximately 32.11 in the gold market right now. So it'll be an interesting day tomorrow for sure to see if anything unwinds or turns around in the other direction. But while we're talking about metals, let's go to platinum next.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting on platinum, again, that 1,000 level has been sticky resistance lately. But if we look at the weekly chart is bull flagging. So I think, I'm still very positive on this market. In the long run, obviously, it, got hit with silver and gold today for a sympathy bid, although much less, silver and platinum much less so than gold did, obviously. But they're still in the precious metals category. And again, stronger dollar too is also waiting on that, and geopolitical risk off. Although platinum and silver are more industrial use metals, more so than say a store of value, but they are still considered in the precious metal category and a store of value. And so a little bit of pressure on both of those today, but certainly nothing like gold.
Yeah, I mean, I love the $1,000 level that you just pointed out. That's pretty close to where my rectangle is here at the top of the, kind of defining resistance. Support, though, this has been a long. I went back to yesteryear, this just keeps popping up as support and resistance, and that's approximately 956 ish, give or take a couple of ticks here. So I kind of let that frame the bottom of the conversation. We actually touched it May 5th. Nice trend line up, though. Nicely fitting trend line up. But it's a pretty decent sized candle today, pretty big red candle. It's not a bullish engulfing technically, but just brings us right back down to all the moving averages. They're like a bowl of spaghetti right now. They're all kind of tangled in love. Down at the bottom, there's stochastics. Not much to talk about. It's trying to converge, but not that much movement. Going into a 10-minute chart. Nice kind of orderly sell-off today. I mean, we had that London session. Everything went haywire in the London initial balance. And you could just see the sell-off continued, so it trickled to the bottom. A really nice point of control at 99.77 even. We blew through that high vol level at 990. Menthol Q's one-day min at 985.3. And on the downside, really, there's nothing left other than S2. I don't expect us to accomplish that today at this point in the afternoon. So that's the story there. But we also we'd be remiss if we did not talk about the Bitcoin today.
The Bitcoin. Now, I find what's really interesting about the Bitcoin is we had a huge rally. That last week, that rally held all throughout the weekend, obviously. And then we went all the way up to, 106 today, right? And then this market has pulled back and is ending the day negative almost 2%. Which is very interesting to me because, it hasn't followed indices. It hasn't followed. You would think that this market would be excited over everything that is happening since it's been reacting that way. But quite the pullback there. I mean, even for Bitcoin, that's quite the pullback.
No, I agree. Bearish engulfing looking like candle today. I'm interested in this particular candle. Now, this is the one, this is Tuesday or Thursday, I'm sorry, of last week, the 8th. And, I'll officially tell you where the piercing line is tomorrow, but as long as we're closing above the piercing line, I'm not too worried about it. We did take out this target wick back here on February 21st, and which was at that 10,450 level. So right now, yeah, I don't know. This could just be like a regular pullback in my mind. Nothing to get too excited about. But again, we start closing below that piercing line of that candle, and if we, again, 80 MA is going to be super, super big. Yeah, we're overbought, but we could stay overbought for a long, long period of time on this chart. And then if I want to drill down to the intraday. This was a little bit different story in this market because, in most other markets, all the action happened during the London initial balance. But look at the US initial balance also had a big sell-off as well. These are 30-minute candles we're looking at. And then we paused a little bit. S1 held previous session's lows, double area of interest right there around that 10,000, I don't know, 270 level. And then it failed all the way down to S3, and it looks like it's still failing as we speak here. That JX1 level, 10,100 would be the next step down in my mind. And I don't know if this market's done for the day, Tracy. It might keep moving. So those are our hot
But
commodities
as yeah,
of the day. Um,
all
yeah,
right,
so tomorrow we'll talk about wheat because the WASDE report was not kind to wheat. So we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. All right,
perfect.
all right. Thank you, Tracy. We have OrderFlow Labs in the house, trading the close. We have Leo the Tiger. We have Nick for a tick. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Pretty good, must admit, for a Monday, anyway. A gap Monday.
4% up day. All the
Is
401k lovers are loving their price movement for sure.
I mean, I'm
oh
happy with
yeah.
my ads, but that's money I don't care about until I'm way past my prime, I guess. So,
In other
yeah,
words, my age.
maybe a little older, Jim. You're still kicking, and keeping us entertained and keeping us in line every day on the show. So I think you still got plenty of time.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Very kind of you guys. So, great job Sunday night, by the way.
Thank you.
Remember, folks, every Sunday, right before the Globex Open, Nick is at NinjaTrader Live with a plan for the week, and it's an awesome opportunity to kind of get ahead on your planning. And I thought it was great, Nick. I appreciate you doing it.
Appreciate it, Jim. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been really cool the last few weeks to just hang out with everybody and get a rough idea, zoomed out view of kind of where we're trading, where we may go, looking at things like volume profile, just to kind of keep us hopefully on the right side of some trades. So if you haven't checked it out, every Sunday, 4:45 Central, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's not just me and Nick. There's a whole bunch of people that show. It's pretty fun, so it's worth it.
Even Leo's there sometimes.
I am.
There
He
you
hasn't
go.
invited me
Anyway.
on the show yet, but I'm in the chat.
I I uh I don't know who, but I'm gonna probably throw Stowe under the bus and make him do the inaugural second person on my
Stowe's
show
going to
with
be the
me
first
one
guest.
weekend. Yeah, I think Stowe's gonna be the first guest. I think that's we haven't talked about it, but I think I'm just gonna throw Stowe on there with me to
Nice.
supper on his Sunday evening. We'll make it fun though.
He's the hardest working man in show business, that guy. He's everywhere.
He is.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, fellas. Anybody in a trade?
I'm in a short right now with NQ just popping that high while you guys were talking about hot commodities. And just looking for a little bit of a return into this little distribution here. Maybe if we can't punch lower into the bulk of the volume today.
I love it. All right. Well, good luck, you guys. I'll be taking notes and listening.
Cool.
Yeah, Leo, I was in a short too, right around when we were talking hot commodities, but I almost got wicked out, kind of in the top of that little area that I'm on ES at least. So my stop sitting at 62.50s. I got in probably a smidge too early at 57s. So stops basically right above this little RTH high that we've kind of put in. So I'm going to hope for the best. I'm looking to take profit around 58.40s. The opening range
NES?
on ES. Yes.
Okay. You were talking prices. I was like, what prices are you talking about, buddy?
Yes, I'm gonna share my screen too so that we can jump back and forth. But hopefully we get a little rotation back into
Yeah,
IB here.
Mission Control said you were good to go
All
for
right.
screen
Yeah,
share.
let me get that shared for everybody.
Yeah, so we had the reason I was short in these 30s, right around here, kind of in this node, I guess. And they popped that high. I got stopped out, and then when they popped it, there was no follow through. So I just jumped back into it. And with all the absorption up here, it was a pretty easy, trade to just kind of get back right back into. Sounds like you had kind of the same scenario.
Yeah, similar idea. I mean, I'm just that guy, I guess. I struggle to buy the high on a three, even NQ, almost 4% up day. I hate days like this. I know we watched it last night on the show when we gapped up 1.5%, and then waking up to seeing the absolute, I guess, FOMO buying from our lovely friends overseas in London and Europe, just continuing to kind of march us higher. And then US gets stuck with the consolidation basically inside the 5 minute opening range for a
Hmm.
good portion of the early parts of the session when I get to trade. And then coming on here at the highs of the day to trade the close. Hopefully we get some movement. But I don't know. Maybe the smart trade is just to continue to be looking for longs. So maybe we're gutting for punishment here, both of us.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of afternoon sell-offs.
There
So
have been.
I'm just going with the idea that the range for the session may be a little bit capped to the upside, and just trying to play that exhaustion, some of this absorption up here. But we'll see. I mean, we're not really getting tons of movement, so we can watch this thing and wait for what's going to happen.
Where's your where's your stop on NQ?
Right now it's at 50. Honestly, I don't really think it needs to be any
Yeah.
higher than 44. So I'm just gonna move it down.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching the 5870s on ES too. If we pop my stop, that's probably where we're going. I'm assuming we'd run the overnight high at that point, at least on ES.
Yeah, we've got so we haven't taken out either overnight levels.
Yep.
50 points to the upside to take out the overnight high. But yeah, I mean, what was that Euro pump on? I mean, that was just
I
I
don't
woke
know.
up at like 3 a.m. this morning and I saw a like 200 point 5 minute candle.
It was one of those where I checked my phone because my alarm went off at like 6:30. Because my child sleeps through the night, so it makes my life much easier in the mornings. But
Lucky
I had my
you.
alarm go off and had a Discord message for one of my buddies that trades in Spain, and he basically is like, "You might as well skip trading today if you didn't see the London."
Oh,
And it's one of those where it's like he knew probably that I was just gonna wake up and just be like, what the heck is going on? But I
right,
clearly it was either FOMO buying or I don't know if it was more clarification on the tariff deal. But I mean, either way, it just shot us another 3%.
right. The year pump was because of percent. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was obviously as London was opening. I think they are still in Switzerland. A lot of those folks. So probably news came out in the morning there when everyone was awake.
Did you see Marco K's random tweets last night on Twitter?
I did not.
Yeah, he
Anything
was.
good?
Yeah, he was basically like very bearish. Just being like, I don't know. It's the first time I've really seen him actively tweet about a market, like intraday market activity. He was just like, if you see anybody saying the markets are ripping higher, keep in mind they're not even one standard deviation above the norm for this VIX level or something like that. It was just very interesting.
Interesting.
Bassett had a presser in Geneva at the London Open. Dovish
That's what it
tariff.
was.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we still haven't cleared. I guess we kind of have cleared it, but we're still not that, I guess, much higher than where we were kind of consolidating last week. And even from that other near term bottom that we kind of put in around 5800s, we're still kind of just meandering around that level. So,
I mean, the 21K level is a big level for me.
yeah.
It was the bottom of the 3 month balance range from December. And the break of that was, we broke from that and went straight down.
And where was your anchored VWAP from the all-time high on NQ? I know you were talking about that last week. Is that still a little close, or did
So
we break that?
we're above it now. I have
Okay.
two. Let's see if I have this chart, if it's still here. No. Let me try this one. Nope, that's my footprint. We're above it now. We're above both of them. I have basically one from the all-time high and then one from the double top high. There was one, it didn't make a new high. But basically there's two highs if you look at the daily chart. And I just anchored a view up to both of them. The first one, the most recent high that wasn't a new, it wasn't the all-time high. It was very well respected on the downside when it was tested, back from below. And the second one we're above now. So we're above the anchored view up from the all-time high. And I haven't looked at it today to see what we've done. Actually, I can. We're back. Let's see. Okay, we're well above it now. The
Okay.
other one is currently at 387. So we're well above it. That's from the all-time high. Then the most recent high is 681. What's interesting, if you look at a daily chart, we had wicked, we gapped through it and then wicked, basically tested it not to the tick, and had a very nice, rally from that. So that was pretty cool.
Hmm.
All-time highs are well respected. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it might be an interesting rest of this week as more details of that agreement, or if anyone walks back any of the statements too. But until then, I mean, I don't know. I was talking about it last night. I'm still a little cautiously bullish, I guess, even though I'm shorting this thing right now. But we also talk about the differences of intraday day trades compared to those more long-term ideas.
Right.
There's an opportunity with order flow and volume. I mean, with my time horizon of being a few minutes, the macro really doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it does kind of flip me, I guess, a little bit looking more for the appropriate dips to buy to get long versus kind of looking more, okay, I'm kind of just waiting for maybe there's an excess push that I can potentially short. So they're starting to shift my bias slightly, but for the most part, we are getting that little pullback off those near-term highs on ES as well as NQ.
I mean, I'm looking for these stops to get run here.
Mm-hmm.
There's this
Yeah.
one. I'm looking for those. I don't know if I'd call them stops or just, little
Breakout is
lows,
a little
local
consolidation.
lows. Right.
I kind of like, I mean, I'm only in a single, so we'll see if we can pull this down to 5840s. It's kind of that low volume node on the day of, we're kind of building a double distribution here at the highs. So kind of that LVN that's sitting at the opening range mid. I'm happily
Yeah. Yep.
going to
Yep.
cover there on ES if we get this flush. I'm not holding
Right.
out for new lows on the day or anything.
Right. What will be really frustrating is if they just bid this from the hole.
I mean, I can see it. Let's see.
They're still pulling bids, when they start when the offer stacks.
I mean, if we lose this, I got to think we're going back to
At least the mid,
840,
right?
850.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that it just makes too much sense with the structure of the day, at least.
Right.
But maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah. I mean, take out this low here. We definitely could see a little quick run to the OR mid.
I almost got wicked out there. That's actually really funny. I think I had 2 ticks to spare on that high.
That's funny.
I was just trying to keep it off that, basically anything above I guess the RTH highs. I was, I'm going to get out of this, but
Yep. What time frame is the OR? This 5 minutes.
yeah, I think both of us, I'm using 5 minute too. So
Yep. 5-minute OR is my jam. I have a very specific trade set up against the 5-minute mid, so the OR mid. Didn't get it fully tested this morning, but I would look for, like this little breakdown from the OR range and a retest of this to the downside. Didn't, again, it's not a to the tick thing, but basically I look for a retest of the mid after we've broken out from the range, from that OR range. So it's not a breakout necessarily. It's just a retest. Look for continuation trade. What is she saying? I didn't get it.
What is the market saying?
What is XYZ saying? What's up, XYZ? Come on, sellers.
Yeah, give me the push.
I like what I'm seeing. Just want to see this flush these 900s.
For a minute, I didn't get, I mean, not at least what initiated me into the short on NQ. Like I didn't short NQ, but I did get one, but it probably was 30 minutes ago that I had a delta flip to the downside on NQ, but nothing on ES. But that's not what I guess triggered me into the short. Still just hanging on IB high, which interesting enough was the
NQ is a lot weaker from that standpoint.
yeah.
Interesting. It's good to know those things. It's probably why we're seeing a little bit of a pause here. Yes, sitting at the IB high. Gently tap or smash the like button. NQ Scalper says we're going to close above 21K. If you hit the like twice, it counters the first one. You can't do that. So you think we're going to rally up to the overnight high and close up there? It's pretty bold. So now we got to flip to the upside here on Delta map. I
Don't love this bid.
Counter trader versus counter liker. That's funny. YM's pushing new highs.
Everything's bid today. Even yields are up. Again.
What do you make of that macro?
I don't know. I'm not a macro guy. I'm not a bonds guy. I think you've made this joke before. I don't have 45 minutes or 3 hours to find out if I'm going to be wrong in a trade. So I don't really trade bonds.
One tick.
Yep.
All right. We got one tick. We're going to take profit after 45 minutes.
I mean, aren't there guys in the pits, in the bond pits probably that made their living trading like that? Just getting a tick or two.
Yeah, I think.
out of
Yeah.
the long
for sure.
bond.
Yep. Still are.
I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of people who can do that. I don't know. I never really tried to trade them. And then when you kind of watch them for a little bit and you see just how little they can move at a times, and when they do move, they do move. But
Right.
most of the time they're kind of just sitting there. And I guess that's why everyone gravitates to NQ because it actually moves. and you can find out in 3 seconds how wrong you're going to be.
All right. So we're going to get the next period here in
20 seconds.
20 seconds. I mean, it sure feels like they're setting this up for a little like afternoon flush, huh?
Yeah.
Opening the power hour at the lows of the last 30-minute periods. It's
I
good for
mean,
us.
looking at this again, like NQ looks like it wants to flush, and it's probably going to break. Yes, it's still kind of just stuck a little bit on that top edge of today's volume, but let's see if we can break 50s. I mean, I'm still liking it. It's just taking forever to break.
All right, chat. How many likes do we have?
I got to refresh the stream.
Not enough.
Not enough. Under 100.
Ooh.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Yes, they are.
I'm going to let this hang for just a minute, and then I'm planning on covering because we've basically done what I wanted to do as far as this one lot warrior trade that I'm in. Bid really picked up after that flush. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get out. We can watch your trade.
Now we'll see if ES can make the little move.
Is that a tiger or that sounds more like a Bengal?
I mean, they'll have to tell us behind the scenes. I don't.
Is that
I'm
really
not
a tiger?
It's a
It's
panther.
a panther. A panther?
I was gonna say I'm not a biologist. I guess.
Nick,
I don't know if that's
I
the
think you
word.
should stick to trading, homie.
I was gonna say though, I'm not up on my my knowledge of big cat growls, but my initial gut reaction is that wasn't a tiger when I heard that, I think last week. It's a cougar. Zoologist, maybe that's what it is.
I'm trying to pull up your stream so I can see your trade. There's so much going on here.
You got to go to the meeting. You got to hit meeting.
I'm watching it on YouTube.
I mean, you're on a delay.
That's how I roll.
You can see me get stopped out 10 seconds later.
See if I can pull it up on the Zoom.
I don't like this bid. And now I'm going to delta flip to the upside. So I'm going to chicken out of this. Probably. You know what? I just don't like this. I'm just going to flatten. How about that? It's going to break above the initial balance high again.
Woo!
That's a new one.
That's new.
I'm flat, but you guys can see that that's firing, and we're seeing buyers step in, pushes back above initial balance high, back above the opening range high. So not saying that short is cooked, but I kind of wanted to see that flush a little faster than that. So take my 5 points and run.
It's not a bad trade in ES, right? 5 points in ES is like 200 points in NQ. Is that what you guys say to make yourself feel better?
I know it's been a few years since you've traded ES, but no, it's not quite 200 points.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll take 7 to 10 points on ES all day long. So 5, decent trade, just take it and run.
What is that your standard TP for ES? Or is that like
I never really use one, but I'll start trailing probably around, like if it's a 10, like I'm probably not taking a stop out at that point. It's definitely stops in profit after about 10 points.
10 points.
5 is a weird number. 7, I feel like is a good number for me in ES, where I'll take it and feel good about the session, even if I don't take another trade. Like I can feel confident in that. with a
Yeah.
taking with 3 minis, 7 points, pretty decent day. Keeps the 9 to 5 away.
7 to 10 points keeps the 9 to 5 away.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like $1,000.
I was just, apple a day. What's the apple a day keeps the doctor away?
Basically.
So same.
I live my life a quarter point at a time.
1 tick per minute. 1 tick at a time. Tick, Nick, for a tick, you have to live your life 1 tick at a time, brother.
Right. That's what I said, a quarter point. So 1 tick.
Oh, okay. Okay. It didn't register.
I was stealing the Fast and the Furious line.
7 to 10 TPs would land me in the bread line, says XYZ. He can't hold for more than 1 point. He said 4 ticks is all he can take.
I'm trading 3 minis. I'm trading 3 minis XY. So I'll keep that and call it a session.
That's right, NinjaTrader.
NinjaTrader with the Fast and Furious line
But
in the
you should
chat.
probably ask any trader, any real trader. It doesn't matter if you win by a tick or 10 points. Winning is winning.
Yeah, it's probably like if you win by a tick or a point, maybe, or a pip or something. There's probably more trader lingo.
Do
we could
people
throw
still
in there.
use the word pip?
Isn't pips used in some of the other products instead of points?
I don't know.
Ticks? I feel like they use pips for some of the other products. Someone in the chat, if you're smarter than me, please let me know. Forex uses pips? Okay.
Or everyone's yelling at us now, Forex.
Okay, guys. The Forex guys.
Oh,
are the ones who
jeez.
say pips.
Found
Everyone's
the
hot with
Forex traders. That chat was flying like Fast and the Furious. Does anybody actually trade Forex? Do people still do that like actively from a retail standpoint?
You mean
Nick, do you know?
instead of trading like currency futures, like actually trading
Yeah. Like the
Forex?
Forex.
I don't really have any friends that actively do. I mean, I feel like once people have made the jump to like NQ, what's the point of trading Forex? But maybe I'm wrong.
It
Maybe
said for swings and also the degenerates. People that want to trade on 300 to 1 leverage. Nobody in the USA. Okay.
yeah, that whole thing with whatever it's called.
Gotcha.
My brain's blanking, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, we got that little move we were looking for from the shorts. Do
We
you
did,
see
and
yourself re-engaging on the sell side?
potentially. I don't love that bid, and even our lovely Job pivot here on ES for the session. We just ticked right down to it and bounced off of it. So never love fading those type of moves either. But I don't know. I'm sure there is a bunch of zero DTE activity.
Here we go again. Nick
I'm
with
sure
the
there
0
is
day.
15 points higher, sir. I'm sure everyone's just been buying calls the second the market opened.
That would have been painful today.
I mean, they're definitely they harvested all that premium today, but let's see if the late buyers get a nice win here on a push towards 5850s on the SPX. If not, yeah, everyone who bought calls as soon as the market opened is probably having a bad time.
Need that overnight stat. Last major gap up, we actually didn't get it though.
Yeah, I think Jim talked about the gap stat last night or dropped it in the chat during my show. I think it was like on Mondays 55% of the time. So today gonna be the other 45.
Oh, the gap fill.
Yeah, the gap fill stat. Or is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about?
Somebody mentioned the overnight stat.
Oh,
The last gap, we didn't hit the overnight stat either. I'm pretty sure we were on stream that day. Monday, was it last Monday?
no, the only other gap, oh, I guess we might have had other caps. I don't know. There's been a lot of Sunday night open gaps lately. We've just filled all of them except the one that's Actually, it was not a Sunday night gap. It was a Wednesday Globex gap down toward 5300s.
Mm-hmm.
That one's still there. Wonder if we're going to make it to rollover with that still there. Probably.
It's OPEX week next.
Is it OPEX week? I think it's next week.
It's third Thursday of the month, right?
You overestimate how often I'm looking at the actual calendar.
Third Friday of the month.
It's third Friday of the month. Is it the third? I guess technically it is.
That's how much I care about OPEX.
You care more about options than I do. Who knew?
Ever since you started talking about overnight gaps being fake, I can't get it out of my head.
16th. You're right.
Here's my rule. If we are trading inside of yesterday's range, the gap from yesterday's close to today's open is not significantly important. Take it for what you want. If we trade or we open outside of prior day's range, that's a true gap. It's significant because it doesn't happen that often, like today. And that actually pushes other participants to do something. You know, Crudele talks a lot about the monthly close being a time, or a quarterly close as being a period of time where other market participants are forced to do something. They have to do something. More than likely, when we gap outside of prior day's range, some of those participants that were off sides may not always, you know, you don't know, but some of those participants likely are going to need to take some type of corrective activity. So if you have shorts stuck, you know, off sides on a big gap, or buyers stuck on a big gap down, theoretically, you know, in theory, that should help, you know, that gap hold, or give you information. Like, it's just more powerful, in my opinion. What's your take on that, Nick?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention because I was watching this.
Nick's just watching the ticks.
I'm watching every tick. No, I was debating on getting back in because we failed basically right where my last entry was. But
yeah,
now I'm just probably gonna watch this.
It does, yeah, it makes the gap stats more meaningful, but it's actually in alignment with, like, if you're going to have stats, they should be meaningful. Do you know what I mean? And so if we open every single day, except for the days, more often than not, we open inside of prior day's range. Every single day, we're going to open outside of prior day's close. Every day. So it's not really a significant event. And so that's why I don't track the open to prior day close gap. Now, other people do, and they have stats on it. That's fine. But I don't think for me, it's not an event that's significant enough. Now, I have the reference to the prior day close because it's a piece of MGI, right? So you'll see PDC on my charts, and that just means yesterday's RTH close. That's a very important level, but I don't track, you know, how often we touch it, or if we open below it, then I didn't, you know, I don't get bullish if we open below it, or bearish if we open above it. Yeah, for sure. Some things are more meaningful than others, and it's on you to determine, to kind of build your system around what's meaningful to you and your strategy. So that opening outside of prior day's range is what's meaningful for me as far as the gap goes. And if we open inside of prior day's range, then I don't really care. I'll get off my soapbox so Nick can trade.
I'm not in the trade. I think
I see you stalking something.
it's the same trade, literally the exact same setup. It took another little consolidation wave here, whatever you want to call this, where we came back up, retested it, failed again. Now testing initial balance high once again on ES, but probably not going to take it. Yeah, could still be in the, I guess, the other trade, but whatever.
Mr. Coffee said 5 minutes in the stream and I learned more than on X in the last months. I mean, yes, I don't disagree.
That sounds about right. I've learned more from random threads that Leo will post than I have spending hours doom scrolling through X on a random evening after the close. Sometimes there's some real value in between the jokes that he may throw out there.
Every once in a while, I post something useful, but you know what, man? So many bots
I know
lately
the
in
bots
the
are bad
replies.
lately.
It's just like I don't even really want to post anything.
That's fine. You can just share that insight here on NinjaTrader Live.
Well, just every Monday and Thursday, I'll just be like ready. Here's a study. Here's something I want to discuss today. We'll go through it like a thread.
Still waiting for part 2 on the single prints that you promised like a year ago.
Dude, I wrote part 2. It's out there.
Where?
What do you mean?
When did you post that?
Forever ago, like a year ago.
Okay. Well, then I got to find it. That still has kept me out of fading trend days more than I care to
Than
admit.
anything else.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that one sunk in. It really just shows it's just a low probability trade once there's that second set.
I think the net of that after all is said and done is when the market is actively trending and making single prints, like new single prints repetitively, you generally want to be in the direction of that trend or just off the, sit on your hands, right?
That's probably what it's done more. Because I still trade in the morning more than anything. So by the time that second set is there, it usually just gives a good sign for me that we may just kind of slowly drift up, grind higher, and which is like my least favorite tape to trade as it is.
Right.
So even me trying to get long there is not necessarily my best my best execution. So
Yeah.
I'm better off just sitting on my hands.
Yeah. Once that is done, like once we're done like making new single prints, then in that sense, like I think it's fine to take some counter trades, right? But I think the major, after a couple of years of as far as like watching it kind of not obsessively, but just having, I was like, it's on my chart automatically. So I just, after a couple of years, it's like, okay, it's not necessarily the damage isn't done after the single prints are created and all that good stuff. It's when we're actively creating single prints that is the trend is very strong. I think that's where most people get run over versus like a counter trade after you have a set of single prints or 2 sets of single prints. Do you know what I mean? What is going on? Did we buy this dip today? I think a lot of people did. I've been buying the dip on the longer term portfolio stuff for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I had a good ad back around 5,000s, 5,100 ish. But other than that, have not done a whole lot outside of day trades to the long side.
We should take a look at something that happened this morning really reinforces this idea of balance the trend. And we're kind of seeing it right now, right? So like imagine you have, let's see if I could draw a box around this. Where's the box? Rectangle? Okay. So if you just drew this box and you were able to recognize that we're in balance here in this box range. Oh, they probably need to move my stream. Let me know when we changed. Do.
Can we jump to Leo's if anyone's on the hotkeys behind the scenes? There we go.
All right. So basically, we have this push down at the open. We offered a couple of times, and then we created this balance area. We can see it on the volume profile, right? From the low of this area to the high of this area, we have this large distribution here, volume distribution, right? And we can see in the price action very well balance range. So what we've been saying the last like 100 times we've been on the show is that you go from balance to imbalance and then back to balance. And so if you kind of memorize that, then you can come up here and you can see we're back in balance, right? So we had balance, we pushed away from that balance, now we're back in balance. Why am I telling you this? Because if you're aware of that in the moment, you can, typically when you have a balanced range, you want to fade the edges of that range. That's one of the ideas for that short we took. We have a clean balance range. We kind of breached above it just briefly, and taking that short, I'd take that short 100 times out of 10. Now, if that failed and we continued to push and rally higher, then you would likely see something like this, right? And so it's the awareness to know that, okay, we are in a balance range. I'm going to potentially fade the edges of that balance. When the balance breaks, then I'm going to be off, sit off hands and look for directional moves. And now we're in balance again. Now, the important thing to know is that this is not like a secret concept or nothing new. It's the way the market works. We go from balance to imbalance, and this happens on all time frames. So you can spot this on, daily, weekly, monthly time frames. And the more awareness that you have of that, the better you're going to be prepared for when we go violently, break out of the prior balance range. And then if you want to take it a step further, you could just be like, okay, here's my balance range. I'm just going to draw a horizontal line from here and then here. And you could be like, here's the balance range that we were in. We broke out of it. What do you expect to happen if we retest the top of that balance range from above, right? It's a breakout. So what I would look for is if we, I would draw this maybe on an intraday time frame. If we retest this, the top of this balance range, look for a long down here, right? That would be the idea behind, kind of that retest of this little breakout that we just saw today. But that works also on more than one time frame. So that's something that's very easy that you can implement, is identifying, if you're using volume profile, like these large distributions, when we're in a balance range, like here and here, and then you won't get, run over if you're aware that, hey, we're breaking out of balance. So there's a little bit more on the balance conversation that I feel like we've been the last time we talked about it too.
I love how the 2 times I've tried to trade today, being obviously off the open, wasn't going to try to jump along I guess, the steamroller to the downside that we saw off the opening bell. But then we just consolidated and chopped for the entire time in my desk. And then I come back on here, and what are we doing? We're consolidating and chop. So clearly the overnight session is now the superior time frame to be executing trades in. They
Don't say
flipped it
that.
on us.
Don't say that.
I mean, I've watched Stowe take some great trades in the overnight recently. So
No, I've seen him
he's
too.
captured more points than I think both of us combined trading Globex randomly. So he's got an eye for it, clearly. I don't. I've still net read not trading RTH.
I think I am in the same boat as well. I'll trade Globex from time to time. I made a joke last night about trading Globex instead of doing Mother's Day celebrations. But I didn't come to the charts last night.
Did you do anything nice for the missus?
Yeah, she wanted pork shoulder, so I smoked a pork shoulder,
Nice.
pulled pork, and we just hung out. She's unbelievably pregnant right now.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
so she doesn't really want to do much. But we also have, we've been spending time getting ready. We putting the nursery together still.
Good stuff. Yeah, we laid low. My wife wanted brunch, so made pancakes, bacon, fruit, whole spread, bunch of good stuff.
Do
And
you
just
guys ever use trend lines or pitchforks? I use a pitchfork for to eat, but never for trading.
I don't even know what a pitchfork is actually used for.
Yeah,
And
can you guys educate us on what is a
like,
pitchfork?
I know it's a symbol that I've seen that I can select as
Do we have
drawing
it? Do
tools,
we have
but I,
this
I
here?
don't, I would have no idea how to actually use it.
Andrew's pitch. They even have a name, Andrew's pitchfork. Is Andrew the guy that made that? Oh, look at that.
It's for picking up hay and grass. That is correct.
What can we do with the
So
pitchfork?
is it like drawing flagging patterns? Like, I don't get it. I guess it's
Yeah. Is it like somebody tell us?
like if it's as simple as that, and I've just completely misunderstood what it is, then
Is it like I think I'm making it do something right now. Like trend lines, maybe? Is it like a trend line tool?
or like a channel
A
drawing
channel?
tool?
Yeah. Channel like a
Yeah, okay. It's a tool that can be used for price channels.
okay. Cool.
Also
Yeah,
helps you in the channel break. Okay.
that's fun. No, I don't use them, clearly.
Yeah, I'm more of a draw two trend lines kind of guy if I was drawing something like that.
Crayon lines, that's what I refer to, Nick.
Okay. Crayon lines. That is what I still call them usually too. If you guys missed it, like I think it was last week, Leo drew a crayon line on his execution chart.
Still, Leo found the pitchfork crayon. I'm gonna be playing with that now. I'm gonna troll the Twitter chat and do a thread on pitchforks.
There you go.
There's some stats in there.
You can be drawing pitchforks, bear flags, bull flags on all different time frames. It's just messing with people.
Wait till I get the GAN fan. All right, Nick, can we
Coming
get
back
a
again.
likes check? Can we get a likes check?
We are sitting at 131 likes with 530 people watching this stream.
Whoa,
That's
what?
pretty pitiful, if I do say so myself. Not trying to insult anybody, but if you could, please hit the like button. We
We're
might
gonna
take another
insult.
trade here at the turn in 2.5 minutes. I put on the streamer voice for that one. Don't make me go full influencer.
There it is.
Do the circle fib tool. I don't even know what that is, Stowe. Is that a real one? There's a circle fib tool. How is it different than normal fibs?
And I almost had a half a mind to buy this here, but
I mean, it's still the same logic. You long those lows
yeah,
until
I'm gonna
until it
give
breaks.
it a shot. A little late, but that's fine.
This is where on whatever a 4% update, I am more likely to try to fade the top of this consolidation than try to long the bottom of it, which probably makes more sense.
The bid is out there.
The bid is always out there.
Let's see if it stays around. I'm gonna keep my stop pretty tight though.
XY apparently is going to become a big moon cycles guy for trading.
I don't believe that for a minute. If we get a late day rally, that'd be a nice move.
I mean, sellers haven't really shown a lot of enthusiasm to push us back to that little LVN there. Let's see. Coming into the turn, 10 period here in about 30 seconds, or excuse me, 60 seconds.
They're gonna stop me out.
They're probably going to wick down in M period to turn
Take
over.
my stop and
then
run
go.
it. Yep.
I'm going to wick inside 860. Chat, what are your thoughts for the close in the last 30 minutes here? Are we going to close on new highs, or are we going to continue to fill out the rest of this balance from today's session? Close red for the day. I'm not a bet man, but I'm gonna wager that seems unlikely today.
I took myself out of the chart. I mean, I might as well waiting for the stop, but I'm just gonna watch this. I'm still interested in taking this long. Damn. Very lackluster here.
Yeah, it's pretty quiet.
I'll try it again. It's terrible price, but I don't know. It's kind of a bad trade, honestly. That's a terrible trade. You guys should never watch me trade. And I put 2 on by accident. Great. We're going to need some likes to get this to rally back up to this upper distribution.
I mean, 564 people watching with only 184 likes.
It's pretty sad.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
Can we just break this consolidation, please? Every time. And they do it in like the last 10 minutes, which is just not always when I want to execute a trade right as we're heading into MOC. Leo, I guess we could have still both been sitting in our shorts still, just hanging out. Stops above top of the range. I really just came back to my entry on ES.
I like what I'm seeing. I just have a terrible price. So
Yeah, they're still holding it. Where'd you get in?
87.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna trim this down to 1 because when they popped that to 90, the offer just basically stacked right up. I didn't really intend to get into either, so I just kind of wanted to scratch on a piece of it. I'm not trying to be crazy for this afternoon trade here.
Now they're starting to come in.
Let them, Nick.
I mean, there's really just not a whole lot to do. NQ. Did your point of control shift up?
No, it's still down at
Still
the
down.
785s.
Yeah.
So I kind of like this. I mean, got some absorption in here. We can see it on the Delta profile right at the top of value on the day. So looking for this to be continuation to the upside. If we're going to close up into the upper end of this range, then That's kind of the idea behind the trade. Also, we're in the balance. We're in the bottom of the balance range that we're up here in. It's kind of two reasons to look for this trade to be long here.
I know you're going to trade, sir, but there's a good question. When you say you see the offer stacking, are you looking at the DOM or another tool?
They're looking at the DOM. Looking at the DOM. We shouldn't try to force trades. I'm not trying to force a trade.
It's playing the edges of balance.
It's not an A+ trade by any stretch, but definitely has valid logic. I'm trading NQ currently. I'll switch back and forth between MNQ and NQ. Nick, I know you've been a big proponent of just basically trading minis with, just a couple of contracts.
Yeah, that's always how I kind of did it. Micros, I still go back and forth depending on the level of volatility, the spread on something like NQ. For ES, it's outside of when we were, had a VIX in the 50s and ES was trading like NQ on a normal day, in which case, yeah, absolutely size down. But for the most part, I still lean into minis a little more.
Mhm.
But it's the same thing. If I'm trading 2 to 3 minis on ES and I'm looking to capture 5 to 15 points and call it a session, I mean, I'm comfortable doing that. I'm comfortable with my risk and things like that. So just kind of the way I've traded.
Yep. They got me. Stop me out. I do see a lot of resistance at this price. Yeah, I mean, clearly every time we pushed up into the 90s, it was just slam back down. Better luck next time. Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty nice short up here. So that's trading, taking a 40-point trade and then 2 little 10-point stop outs is not a problem. Do you look at the moving averages? No, I don't use moving averages. What is your entry trigger? It depends. I mean, down here, it's just the amount of absorption at the kind of area value area high, in addition to being at the bottom balance. So there's like a lot going on. So seeing this absorption here is kind of the clue that this area might hold for a long. I would still take it right now.
Yeah, it's like this is another ping of that little bottom, but we're still holding it. I don't know. I don't know today with the 4% up day, the 3% on ES. Would I rather be long or short into this close?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm saying. And that's kind of why I'm just like, yeah, there's probably not a whole lot to do the rest of the session. I have absolutely no idea. I would say it's kind of a coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
Which direction of balance we break.
10, 13 minutes till the 50 period. I'll go. Steady sleeper is ready for shorts.
I mean, that is what my gut says to do, which is sometimes wrong when I try to fade these at the top of the range many, many times the last few years of trading. So I've been punched in the face by the 50 algo or something trading that last bit of time frame.
Like right here, I would look for the delta to change from bids to offers. Yeah, I mean, I really want to buy this still. Just because, under the hood, they're kind of reloading the bid, allowing sellers to sell into them. But, if this breaks, then it's going to go.
There it goes. Let's see.
Nick says there goes. We'll see.
I finally just broke 80, which made me happy.
Why
But
did it
this
make
is
you
where
happy?
that bid came back in on ES around 48s. earlier that shook me out of the trade.
I'm gonna jump in it. Gonna try it. One last shot. Why not?
I mean, this is a situation where I don't use time stops a lot, but if I was still in that initial short, I probably at this point I'm just getting out because it's almost been like I've been just wanting us to break this range for so long, and I'm getting tired of staring at it and hoping for the best. Do you use time stops ever?
Not really. I think it's more of a mental thing I get for me. I want to watch this trade here. All right, I got stopped.
I think it's God.
Click in one more time. This is my A plus trade. This or mid retest.
Mhm.
Late afternoon. I mean, it's not that significant, but
I was about to say any stats for end of day because I feel like
I don't have
I
I
don't
don't
see a
have
lot of pings
stats
in the
broken out by day by time of day. But we're gonna check this out.
Nice little exhaustion printed for me there.
Maybe I should zoom out a little bit so we can see the rest of the screen. Where's Stowe when I need him? A new high would be nice. No surprise, my A plus trade has a little power behind it. A little delta flip there.
Yep. Off a late afternoon ping of the opening range mid.
Shocker. A new high would be encouraging, says Stowe. This still doesn't, it's got a little glimpse of offer lifting here, but I want to see that afternoon push. We got
get a
7
push.
minutes till the 50 algo. The experts in the chat said, sorry to disappoint, but nothing will happen.
Nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens.
I love that meme.
Nothing happened. Yes, you are an expert. These are volume Heikin-Ashi bars. Yep. I don't really use candle shape. So for me, it's just like, how do I clean up the candles so that they're not crazy? For me, it's just like smoothing out the data a little bit. Burst out the crystal ball.
And we've moved a total of 50 points this entire time we've been on the air, sir.
Yay.
All right, chat. 15 minutes to go. What are we thinking? New high of the day? Any takers? Or will nothing ever happen?
Nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever does happen, except in 2020, and then nothing ever happened again.
Close it back at the open. That would be nice. Wouldn't be mad about that.
Is in the RTH open?
Yep.
What is the opening print? I probably should know that. I guess it's the.
I think it's up here.
Isn't it the opening range high?
922. Yeah.
I was just thinking, I thought it was the high of the day. Maybe I'm
Yeah, because
crazy.
it was just open. It was just basically an open sell from the open. So there's some bids stacking up on the order book. 860s down to 55s. I don't really want to be in the trade below that. All right, we are seeing what we want to see at the price we want to see it at. Will they hold it is the question. What time frame is the volume profile? It's the RTH, so from the session open. VIX got destroyed today, I can imagine.
Yeah, it did. It's
What's it
inside.
trading? What price?
Looks like 1850 and change right now.
Hmm.
Down 15%.
Michael Anthony has been talking about PFE for 2 weeks now. Big time Pfizer guy in the chat. The Delta bars, they're not proprietary. The way that we built them is very simple. It's just a volume ask minus bid volume. There's nothing proprietary about it. It's just it automatically prints from rotation leg to leg. So right now it's anchored from this high. And so it's just giving us a picture of the Delta buy price from the high here and down into these lows. There's nothing proprietary about it. It's just that we coded it basically to work specifically in the way we want it to. I appreciate that. Double distributions are always funny. It can dance between, yeah. I mean, that's another great thing about this mid trade right here is that it is kind of the separator between this volume here and this volume down here. Kind of like you said, pretty much a double distribution.
Yeah. And that was pretty much kind of where I was targeting taking profit on the short, but NQ kind of went down there. ES is still stuck a little bit higher, kind of at the very bottom of that high volume node.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we want to see heading into MOC. Buyers stepping up above 80s. Are you targeting a new high of the day, sir?
No, I'm just targeting up here into this cluster of volume up here. 920s.
1520s, yeah.
Attention traders, it's algo time.
Thanks.
Where is Kane?
Kane?
Kane's not in the chat.
Was it? Oh, boom.
Hey, nothing ever happens except for when it does.
Something happened, but let's see if
Something
it goes
happened.
back to nothing ever happening.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would assume after that announcement, there was a lot of market on close was a lot to the buy side. It's just a wild guess, but I would assume so after positive trade war news.
You think?
Just a guess. Kane is on vacation. Last time I checked, I thought he was in like Dubai or something, but maybe that was last week. The man travels the world. Glad to see the opening range mid trade still has relevance at the end of the day.
I'm gonna lock it in. 40 points.
Nice.
Call it good.
There's 620 people for you. You got a quick.
Nick, what's 80 minus 20? 60? Okay, cool.
Was that a? Did you just ask me simple subtraction?
Yeah, 80 minus 20.
60.
60, right?
Not only are you getting taken to school on some late day trades off the opening range mid with Leo, but we're getting a nice little math lesson.
Third grade math.
Not new math, because I think I'm screwed as my kid gets old enough for that, because that looks way more complicated than how I learned. Are you in new math yet?
I've seen it. I refuse to even consider it.
Yep.
They canceled new math here. I hope by the time my little one is in that age, they'll go back to old math.
XY says, okay, now do girl math.
That is XY. What are you even saying, brother? We can't do girl math. You know why? We're not girls. We'll let the girls do the girl math. Right, Nick?
I mean, my wife does it all the time, so.
Girl math is like, I got this NQ trade at a discount or something like that.
So now I can open 6 YM trades.
Yeah, right. I got this long and then Q at a 30-point discount. So now I can get long YM at 3x my normal size. That sounds like girl math.
There are 600 people in here and we only have 250 likes after that fantastic trade off the opening range mid. So hit
Buy my course and I'll show you guys how to trade using girl math. Yes, I bought an $800 purse, but I saved $400 because it's normally $1,200. I still count with my fingers. Me too, Eddie. She puts on risk and you cover it. That's great. That's Nick. Do you align with that?
What?
She puts on the risk and you cover it.
Is
that girl math?
I mean, that's not girl math, but kinda. Girl math is like we said, there's the trading example. There's the this was on sale, so I actually saved money.
Mm-hmm. Marriage math. That is true.
That's marriage math right there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Can they perk this above a new high day on NQ?
Stash Royal. I'm just playing around. It's fun to get into a little banter with the chat because, to be honest, there's so many people throwing opinions out there, and you never know, like if you're being friendly or being mean. So I'm just bantering back. It's all good. You can't hurt me, I promise. Look
What
at
if there
that.
was an end of day
Ooh,
liquidation for that, Leo?
look at that. Cannot get above those 30s.
You know, a delta flip to the downside. You know, once again, we came back to my entry there on ES and rejected off of it. Hmm. So since we're right back into the center of the consolidation from earlier,
Hey,
the question still.
we finally moved VPOC right up here in the 20s.
We did. Yes, we did. So now do we just pin it to for the close?
You wanted to warn me about slow markets. I mean, we took on the challenge of trading the afternoon bell, and we know they're slow. Especially Mondays. Nick, do you think Mondays are just terrible to trade in the afternoon?
I mean, we were blessed at least with the volatility that was the trade war that may temporarily be winding down. I don't know, but it gave us some decent volatility throughout those sessions to at least trade kind of the aftermath of or the end of RTH when that stuff was going on. Like we had a VIX above 30 for how many weeks? So at least there were wider ranges than what we've experienced, I would say, in the last probably 3 or 4 shows together. But hey,
Yeah.
we've made it work. There's been some opportunities. There's been some trades. We've
Yeah.
seen Stowe have some absolute insane trades in NQ. So
Yeah.
there's definitely been some good stuff to be had. But then we've had moments like this where we are just stuck in a 10-point range and yes.
Yeah, Marcus, the VPOC's moved to 915. For the RTH profile. It maybe if you're using the 24-hour from Globex Open, I'm not sure what that would be. But it did move from those lower 780s.
Hey, nice trade, Leo.
Hey, thanks, man.
I think Kane might take a little credit for it, though.
Kane's taking credit for it?
Well, we heard him in the background.
Oh, that was a yeah, I mean you know what? I'll be taking over for Kane on Wednesday.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Wednesday morning. Yeah. Well, no. Sorry. Just on Wednesday, not every day Wednesday.
Filling in for him.
So you'll be solo.
I'll be solo Wednesday morning. Yeah. And then I'll
right.
get to hand it over to no, I won't get to because it's on Wednesday. Yeah.
Very awesome, man. I was doing some intense research while you guys were trading.
What was your research? Girl math?
Well, it was better than that.
Oh.
It was last Thursday. I didn't realize this. The House of Representatives passed a bill renaming the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America. It's going to the Senate now.
Oh, okay. That's super important.
It's moving forward.
I mean, we live in interesting times.
Oh my goodness. What interesting is not the right word.
Somebody said we're going to close at 21K, and if we do, I'm going to give them a free hat, whether they want it or not.
Do they have the push in them?
Yeah, the hats are awesome, guys. Thank you.
We close at 21K. I'm going to die laughing. The nothing ever happens guy is going to be really mad.
Nothing ever happens until it does. Leo, if we march this to 58.70s, which is the option strike at 58.50 SPX, I'm going to be very mad. They got 15 seconds to push it 5 points higher.
There's an offer chasing this thing. Okay.
Nope.
There's the close.
Little
Close,
short.
but no cigar.
But closed on the high of the day. Interesting enough.
We did not close at 21K, so therefore I am not owing anyone a hat.
Did we get the new hats yet?
No. I will. I think it would probably be like another week or two. When hats.
We might get a little squeeze going here to get that 21,000 after all.
Well,
creeping up there.
here's Leo math. Is the close happens at the regular trading hours bell close at 48. So we no matter what happens in the next 45 minutes, it's
But
irrelevant.
we know nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever
I could-
happens at that last hour anyway.
Nothing ever good happens. So,
I think
but-
that's true because nothing ever good happens for me when I'm holding trades into that last 15 minutes or last 45 minutes because I am usually begging at that point for something to happen.
I remember I was a commodity broker for 20 years, and you guys would be amazed at how many people initiate trades like right now.
Oh, really?
Crazy to me.
Oh yeah, it's it's startling.
Leo, are we so back?
I think we're back.
I think we are back.
No, I don't know.
We are
Nick,
so
we
back.
still that balance range from 21K from where we broke down from. It's not even on the chart that far back on my higher time frame. That will be what happens. You know, we have to build some volume back above 21K.
You know what? We're so back. I'm just gonna say it.
Nick says we're back.
90.
We're back here.
Woo, 21K.
We're
21K.
So back.
21K. Look at all these offers.
We're
here at
so back
21K.
until nothing ever happens again.
All right. Well, I wish I held that trade for longer, but you know, can't hindsight the trade. Nick has shoot. Look at the chat, Nick. Stowe said I've decided to never short again.
Oh God.
The last time he
The
said that,
trade deal is probably canceled. You heard
the
it.
last time he
that
said
might have
that was
done
the
it.
all-time high.
That might have done it. There's gonna be some new news, I promise.
Oh my God.
I know I'm kind of in the same camp as Stowe, so it might be time to swing short, guys.
All right, Jim.
As soon as I start saying we're so back, it might be time.
There we go. Guys, good job today. Seriously. Yeah, we're gonna end this together. We had a great session. We had a great day today. We missed Ellie. He'll be going again tomorrow, but he'll be back Wednesday. As Leo will be back Wednesday trading in the morning with us. So we're looking forward to that. Tomorrow, remember, is CPI. So you know, month over month 2.4 is the consensus. The Cleveland Fed Research Department is coming up with 2.34. So that's a number we'll look for above or below for surprises tomorrow, but it'll be anticipated. So I'm interested to, we might have a little bit of flatlining going on in between now and 8:30. We'll find out. So thank you for everybody in the chat. The fantastic community. You guys are making NinjaTrader Live what it is. It's all about you guys. We appreciate everybody being here. High tides are lifting all boats. Thanks everybody for being cool with each other. Love chatting with you. If you haven't gotten in the chat yet, pop in. It's a lot of fun. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button. We're not going to bother you with emails too much. In any event, having said all that, folks, remember, we'll be early tomorrow, 8 a.m. East Coast time. Me and Shai will be going strong, so please feel free to join us at that point. In the meantime, most important message of the day, please, everybody, be safe out there. Be good to each other. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.